hopefully we'll be back tomorrow. He's just going to be evaluated every day, all the way up to game day.
And if not, is Jeremy looking like the guy? I mean, seems like he's taken most of the reps the last few days.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he's going to be the guy. We have to give him the most reps because he's that far behind rep-wise. The other guys have had a lot of reps, and so we're trying to catch him up, learn offense going back in there at guard.
Talk about prepping for a team that you saw last year, but yet there's a whole new coaching staff and the difficulties of that.
Yeah, we haven't really spent much time on the actual personnel themselves, outside of the unique guys like the quarterback. The rest of it has just been scheme work for what they did at Northern Illinois. They really haven't changed over the years from the different places they've been. I think his entire staff's been together forever, so they know what they're doing. They're coached extremely well. I don't anticipate a lot of surprises in what they do because that's not who they are. They do things really, really well, and they just keep repeating them. So it's really been more about scheme than personnel.
You look at Northern Illinois film and then just try and put their personnel in there. Is that how you do it?
Yeah, we do, and just knowing that they've kind of moved some guys around on defense, to fit their personnel, what they're looking for, and so as I said, we're just really getting ready more for scheme than personnel.
People say the biggest improvement in college players is year 1 to year 2. How does that apply to college coaches, for example, to be able to be in the same place from year 1 to year 2?
No doubt. There's so much, especially if guys weren't mid-years initially. And not only is it their second fall, but they get one spring under their belt, and so they get to calm down and go through a spring where we don't even practice back-to-back days, so they get a lot of time to meet and focus. And that's why you try never to give up on guys too early, because some guys take a couple years to come around and then do. And but year 1 to year 2 by far is the most improvement of guys. Because the maturity-wise off the field as well too.
How does that play out for coaches going from year 1 to year 2? Similar to players?
Well, I think it's more about knowing your staff and your roster. When you come into a first year, now doing it a couple times, I feel like you're always scrambling the first year. You're just always trying to make it through the day. You're just trying to get things done and figure it out, not have a lot of mess ups. And you go into second year, and now you feel way ahead. A lot of little things you don't have to address everybody in your program all the time about your expectations, about what you want out of them. That's not just your players, but everybody around the building. And so I think year 2 you get at ease a lot more, and you feel a lot more comfortable, and people know what you're expecting, and your staff has worked together for a year.
What is Buck Allen's status?
Yeah, Buck will be here. He has been cleared by the NCAA. He will be here tomorrow and start school Friday morning.
How do you grade Monty's defense at this point?
Well, I think it's unknown. We feel better. I felt pretty good going into last year too. So I don't know. The truth will be on Saturday, and how well we tackle and how well we play and line up. And that'll be what really matters. I feel better now, but I remember feeling the same way a year ago. So there's a lot of unknowns going into this game. We got a lot to prove, a lot of places to improve, and we got 1 million players that have never played at college now.
Anything on Armand?
No, nothing new.
Are you surprised at all by Lamar Dawson's progress so far?
I wouldn't say surprised because of who he is. You guys have heard me say before, it's so rare for a true freshman to be able to really make a significant impact. Because number one, they've got to be a great player. They can't keep up with the speed of the game. And then number two, they've got to be very mature in their preparation. There's not very many Robert Woods stories. I always think there's about 5 to 8 around the country every year of significant impact freshmen. Not where they touch the ball a little bit or just play a few snaps, but where they really impact your program like Robert did. And so it doesn't happen very often. And in the recruiting of Lamar, being a 3.7 GPA, team captain, everybody around him just rave about his maturity. That's what's been able to allow him to do what he's done so far.
What are your expectations for Matt Barkley this season?
Play extremely well, manage the offense, very few mistakes, really put us in position to win again and again. And he did that a number of times last year, but there were some up and down times, and now we're looking for that consistency to stay up the entire year.
Coach Helton mentioned 70% as a goal for completion rate. Do you think he can do that?
Sure he can. It's not there's not that much difference in a game between 63 and 70, and there's just a couple of plays, and a lot of that has to do with your personnel around you. You can complete 70% as far as accuracy-wise. You get 4 drops. In a game that completely changed that. So it's that's all of our offense's control to help that.
What about the touchdown to interception ratio? Is 30 plus and less than 10, is that realistic for him too?
Yeah, that is realistic. We're going to lose a game in that. Those guys had an extra game, those stats before, with 13, and he potentially had 13 last year if we wouldn't have got injured. So that makes it a little harder because you don't get the one extra game without having a bowl game. So, but yeah, that you're reeling off when you get up above 30. You're being productive. Things are going well around you. And if you can stay in single digits interceptions, you're having one of those elite years.
Do you worry about overconfidence at all in this game? Because last year you played them, it was expected to be a tight one. You're a huge favorite in this game, and first game, and all the hype that goes with it.
I would be shocked if we were overconfident. We haven't done anything. So many guys have never played a snap. We don't have. This isn't like the old days where guys are coming back, after All-American seasons, and there's a lot of question marks. So I would be blown away if this team's overconfident or anybody is, because we shouldn't. Number one, because we're not very good, and number two, because these guys are very, very well coached and have a dynamic playmaker touching the ball every snap.
Is the running back situation any clearer, or could it be fluid all the way up into the game or during the game?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's going to be fluid during the game. See how it goes. I would think that a lot of people would touch the ball and then figure out after the game, after another week, can we move from there to get closer to our goal, which is limiting the amount of people.
What, in terms of TJ McDonald's performance, you talked about what you'd like to see Matt improve on and get better at. What does McDonald, in your mind, have to improve upon?
He had consistency in tackling. He's had big hits, and actually one of the games he had a couple missed tackles early in one of our preseason games, and so be really consistent in his tackling, and then some impact plays, some impact turnover plays, whether it's great interceptions or big hits forcing the ball out. We've got to create more turnovers. This team was great here before, and the turnover margin, I think I remember at one point over 4 or 5 years it was plus 99, I remember. So we got to get back to that.
How do you see the schedule starting out with 3 home games? Is that positive, negative, what?
Yeah, sure it is. To know that we're here in front of our crowd and not have to deal with going on the road with so many young players, get a couple games under their belt, is very beneficial for us.
The more pressure to win immediately, right?
We're at USC. I don't think there is more pressure than being here. The expectation here is to win every game that we play by our fans, by us and everyone around our program.
Matt said one of the differences is he thinks you're having more fun and they're having more fun. Would that be a correct analysis, do you think?
Well, I think as you get to year 2, you get to know your team better and you start to trust them better because they understand your expectation, what you're trying to get done. And this team, even though maybe not in age, I feel is more mature and more together as a team than the team a year ago. And so, you allow them a little bit more freedom, as they continue to prove that they can handle it. But also, as you get closer to games, it isn't necessarily as much fun. Camp, there's some times in there and stuff, but this is real ball now. One mistake here and there, you miss a rep, you miss a mental rep on something that comes up in the game. That's the difference between winning and losing. So it's not quite as much fun right now as we get closer.
Coach, you really showed on the outside.